Let us waste no time on introductions. Over my black primer, I sprayed white from above using my airbrush. This can just as well be achieved using a rattle can. I placed my model in a 45-degree angle to make sure I could get at least a layer of white over all of the surfaces. Only when spraying directly from above did I apply multiple coats to achieve that pure white, creating a grayscale sketch of the lights. Once I had my zenithal highlight ready, I reinforced the shadows on the recesses using a black paint wash. Oil paints are the best tool for this due to their low surface tension, which allows the paint to easily run through the recesses after being mixed with white spirits to a wash consistency. Just by touching the tip of the brush to the recess, the paint will find its way around the crevices, and in case you're wondering, no varnishes were applied at any point. Now that I have my top to bottom light source sketched alongside thick shadows on the recesses, I'll dilute some acrylics to filter some color over everything. Thanks to the paint being transparent, all the previous work will show through, and my base coat, shadow and highlight will be ready all at the same time. By using the airbrush, I'll be able to build up my layers smoothly and evenly. You could apply the paint by brush or even use contrast or speed paints to achieve a similar result. Though be careful with paint accumulating on the recesses and obscuring the line work achieved with the oils. As of now, the even transparent layers the airbrush facilitates will allow me to take full advantage of all the previous work. Brushed on paint, if not careful, may pull over the black lining and yield a lesser shadow. Here you can see all the tone variety achieved through the underpainting, even though the model got a similar coverage of the same color. But just to make it a pinch more interesting, I'll spray a dark purple directly from below. You have probably seen this method before, which provides volumetric highlights and smooth transitions in no time. But there is a problem with this method which doesn't make it very beginner friendly. And I am not talking about the need of an airbrush, but the fact that such a clean and uniform look will be extremely susceptible to mistakes as one moves on to paint the rest of the details, as it happened to me here. Mistakes over brushed on paint is easier to correct than over airbrushed areas. When it comes to base coating the trim and all the little details in the armor, we need nothing more than a cube. That is, to properly show you how to do it. To paint any edges or sharp details, the side of your brush is the way to go, as it makes it super hard on you to make any mistakes. You just have to be careful on the amount of paint on the brush, as too much paint will not only yield thicker lines, but may also drip along the edges. While by not having too much paint on the brush, we can get a uniform, thin line. Still, some parts of the model will be easier than others, but help yourself by turning your model around and even grabbing it upside down. Any other base coats at this point are inconsequential, and there is nothing of interest to point out. So in an effort to keep the video as short as possible, I'd rather show you the hardest detail of the model from where you might learn something useful. Once everything was base coated, I wanted to separate the gold from the white, so once again I reached for my oil paints. A brown in this case, which we'll also use to shade the gold. Any type of wash would work for this, but the advantage of oils, as we will see in a bit, is its ability to be cleaned off of any places we don't want them on. I soaked a Q-tip in white spirits, got rid of the excess on a paper towel, and just by using a poking motion I can clean any paint that landed on an underside place, revealing the clean white underneath. And because of the round shape of the Q-tip, we can't reach the lining between the gold and white, leaving that area safe from being cleaned off. With that, I can create a bit of extra contrast in between the gold and white. Normally, after a general wash, we would have to relayer the white after it darkens down. I personally find this cleaning approach much easier. For the power sword, I kept it simple by wet blending some diluted turquoise adjacent colors, applying them in a wash-like consistency and leaving the tones to mix by themselves. After reaching a transition I was pleased with, I cleaned off the overspills with metallic paint. I then added a bit more detail to the sword, with a lighter metallic color over the top part of the blade and a glaze of black on any areas I wanted to forcefully enhance the shadows. With a pale gold color or mixing a bit of silver into the base tone, I added highlights on all the trims and symbols, just as before, making use of the side of my brush. Sadly, the recording of the face didn't focus, but I have another video which I'll link above if you want to learn how to paint Warhammer scale faces. I wanted to do something different than everyone else when it comes to the new Emperor's Children release, so I decided to paint this, which is one of my favorite characters from the Horus Heresy. This was a small practice as I start developing my airbrush skills to bring you some proper videos about it in the future. So I hope you found the video useful and that I'll see you again next week.